Yo, what's going on, dudes? Hopefully everyone is doing okay. Welcome back to the channel. So you join me on this absolutely beautiful day here in Scotland, and that's actually what I want to talk about, is what's the best way to stay safe when you go out riding when it's really, really hot. So when those hot days come about, obviously you want to get out on your bike, and there are things that you should really keep in mind. You know, it's not just a case of, oh my god, it's a hot day, let's go out. You need to just hang on a second and then just think about, you're going to be going out in really hot weather. Is there anything I need to change? Is there anything I should be doing different? So the first thing I'd say when it comes to riding in hot weather is make sure and take regular breaks. I mean, you should really be doing that anyway when you're riding, because you know, we are vulnerable. If our concentration starts to kind of wander a wee bit, it's not ideal. So taking regular breaks is something that you should really be doing. And that brings me on to my next point, which is make sure and stay hydrated. Being dehydrated is one of the most dangerous things you can do on a motorbike. It's the most dangerous thing you can do in any vehicle, you know, but we're sitting on a bike, we're not in a car. It's not like you can reach over or ask the passenger, can you give me a drink? We can't do that. You know, there are things you can do. You can get like these, you know, the hydration backpacks and things like that. But there's one thing I always do when I go out on a bike, whether it's summer or not, is I always have a bottle of water in my bag. I always do it, just in case, you know, even if I feel thirsty, or even if I don't, when I stop I'll have a drink regardless. So make sure and stay hydrated, because being dehydrated on a bike, that's not a good mix. You know, that is not a good mix. Everything drops, you know, your reaction drops, your concentration drops. All those things are affected by being dehydrated. So on a day like this, when it's really hot, I mean, we're supposed to hit about 28, 29 degrees today, which is pretty damn hot for Scotland. So when you're out on days like this, you want to make sure that you've got fluids in your bag. If not, make sure you're taking regular breaks and topping up with fluids when you do. So my next point is actually taking it easy. You know, I don't mean like in a straight line. You know, you can sit in a straight line and not have to do too much work, but if you've ever been on some nice twisty roads and you're kind of chucking the bike about a bit, I'm not talking about going silly speeds, you know, just having a bit of fun and throwing the bike about a bit, it can get a little bit tiresome. You know, you can feel it in your body after a while, and obviously the more you move, the more energy you put out, the more you sweat, the more your body heats up. So, you know, if you're doing that on a hot day, that's going to be affecting everything, isn't it? It's going to be affecting your hydration levels, it's going to be affecting your energy levels, you know, all those sort of things. Just make sure that you're taking it easy. You know, if you're going to go around all these twisty roads, by all means, you know, I'm not telling you not to do that, you know, but just if you're going to be finding yourself that you're going to be out for a long time and you want to go and have some fun on twisties, just make sure that you've got plenty of fluids in you. Make sure that you're being sensible about it as well. You know, don't just go out there being daft just because the sun's out. So just remember that even though you're out on these twisties and you're having a bit of fun throwing the bike about, it does affect you. You know, it's like going to the gym essentially. I mean, or maybe not quite the same, but you're still, you know, your body's still working, throwing the bike about, moving it up and down and all that sort of stuff. So you're going to burn energy, you're going to use up vital fluids when you're sweating, and all that stuff has to get replaced. There's a fellow SV owner. Hello, Mr. SV. I always like looking at other bikes, you know, I mean, like bikes that you have, you know what I mean? I'm sure you've probably done it. If you've ever bought a car, you've never noticed that car in your life before. You buy it and then all of a sudden you see 30 in the 1 week. It's like, oh my god. And there's one thing I always like to do, regardless if I'm riding about in sunny weather or whatever, it doesn't matter. I always chew chewing gum when I'm riding. I always do it, regardless of what time of year it is. It just helps, you know, because I'm sure you've been there, you'll be out riding your bike and then your mouth goes bone dry, and it's the most horrible feeling, and you're just trying to get some sort of saliva or whatever into your mouth just to kind of try and make you feel a bit more comfortable. Chew chewing gum, man, honestly, it pretty much eliminates that. You need to think about your gear as well. What kind of gear are you going to use, all that sort of stuff. So let's talk about helmets. Regardless of whether you've got a budget friendly helmet or the most expensive helmet on the market, every helmet comes with vents. Alright, make sure you've got them open. Alright, make sure you've got the vents open and you are taking full advantage of that, because you need that airflow going through your helmet and just help keep your face and your head a wee bit cooler. And obviously when you can, pop the visor open. You know, it's not ideal when you're talking into a microphone because it picks up a lot of wind noise and stuff like that, but obviously if that's not an issue, then whenever you can, ride with your visor open, help that cool air get into your helmet as well. So not only does your helmet make a difference when it comes to riding gear, you need to think about what's on your body, you know, your jacket, whatever you're wearing, your jeans, your boots, your gloves, all this sort of stuff. You know, you don't want to be going out wearing winter riding gear when it's 30 degrees outside. You know, you're just going to absolutely cook, you know, so you really don't want to be doing that. You can get various kinds of jackets that are going to help keep you cooler in the summer. You can get mesh jackets. I've never used a mesh jacket, so I can't comment on what they're like, but I always use textiles. I don't use leathers. I do have a leather jacket and I wore it quite a bit last year and I just didn't enjoy it in the summer. It just felt like all the heat was trapped in, you know, it had nowhere to go, and I was just constantly boiling in it and I just didn't like it. So leather's not really for me, to be honest. So I prefer textile. You know, it's good in the winter, it's good in the summer, and obviously if you're using it in the winter you can get like liners and stuff you can put in them to help keep the cold out, and then when the summer comes up, take the liner out. And they've got a lot of vents in them, or certainly the jacket that I do, it's got a lot of kind of mesh vents on the outside, and lets a lot of cool air just kind of blow under your arms, beside your, you know, your stomach and your torso and stuff, and it just helps keep you cool. I mean, jeans wise, the thing with jeans is they're pretty thick. That's the downfall with jeans. I just feel safer with my kind of Kevlar jeans on, and when you're out riding you don't really notice the heat in them. It's just when you're stopped and you're walking about, you know, it's like, oh my god, these things are thick. You know, and obviously the same with boots and stuff like that. You know, you might not necessarily want to have your big thick waterproof boots on. You know, I'm wearing ankle boots just now, leather ankle boots, and they're so good for the summer. They just let so much cool air in, and that's the kind of thing that I like to think about. You know, what's going to happen when the warmer weather comes about? What am I going to wear? All that sort of stuff, including my gloves. These gloves, I actually wear them all year round unless it's crazy cold. You know, I do have like a very thin thermal insert that I can put in them. They don't come with these gloves, they're just like inserts that skiers and snowboarders use. You can buy them on Amazon for a couple of quid, you know, they're not too dear, and they actually work really well in the winter. Obviously in the summer you don't want to be having that on, so they're really nice summer gloves as well. They've got plenty of kind of vents in them as well, little holes in them here and there, and it just lets all that cool air in. You know, your hands are always going to sweat a little bit in the summer regardless of what kind of gloves you've got, but having the right kind of gloves certainly helps minimise the amount of sweating that your hands are going to do. Then it's just really figuring out what is my budget, how much do I want to spend, and what's the most important part of my gear, which everybody should know is your helmet. Your helmet's the most important part of your gear. And one thing to remember when you're out on a bike is sun glare can be an absolute nightmare. If you're riding along and you all of a sudden get a big flash of, you know, sunlight in your visor, it is a horrible feeling. I mean, it's a horrible feeling in a car, you know, no matter what vehicle you're in. You know, if you get sun glare and all of a sudden you just cannot see what's in front of you, it's not a nice feeling. So you just need to take that into account. If you're in an area, a built up area, or any area in fact, and you know you're getting that kind of sun glare, just keep that speed down. You know, keep that speed down. Be prepared to stop at the blink of an eye if you need to. You know, you can get sunglasses and things, but I'm not a huge fan of sunglasses while wearing helmets. I need to really look into this more actually. I don't know if you get proper sunglasses for riding, because I fish, I like to fish a lot, so I've got a few pairs of polarized glasses which are fine, but the only thing I don't like about them, because they're polarized, they're meant to take like the glare off the water, they basically make like a funny colour on the inside of your visor, and it puts me off. It's almost like your visor's got a very thin coat of diesel on it. Have you ever seen diesel on the ground? It's almost like a very faint rainbow effect. You know, it's like that, and it just puts me off. I just can't ride with them, so I need to kind of maybe get a pair of glasses that aren't polarised. Maybe that'll do the job. But anyway, this was just a short one, just to give you a few wee tips if you're planning on venturing out this summer, because I know not everybody likes to ride 12 months of the year, or as close to that as possible. So there is going to come a point where the weather's going to change it and you're going to go, time to wash the bike, time to get her all serviced up and get out on two wheels. And yeah, I don't blame you, absolutely do not blame you, especially when it's weather like this. So yeah, just take your time, think about what it is you're doing, make sure you've got all the right gear, your head's in the right place, all that sort of stuff, and you'll be absolutely fine, dudes. You'll have a blast. Anyway, dudes, hopefully you've enjoyed this little video. If you have, guys, give it a thumbs up. I really do appreciate every single one of your likes, and of course, if you want to see all of my uploads, click on that subscribe button. Until next time, guys, stay safe, ride safe, take it easy.